Hello, everyone, and we are live and in the doghouse. How's everyone doing tonight? I'm getting ready to throw up our guests. We're going to get right into it. Welcome. You're not Kayla Hardy. How are you, ma'am?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you on in the doghouse.
Yes, I'm excited. This is actually my first ever podcast.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I didn't know that. Well,
A guest podcast.
glad I
Yeah.
got to be the first.
There you go.
Thank you. We're
Thank
going to
you.
get right into it. Kayla, first question. What was your earliest memories of professional wrestling? And were you ever a fan?
Um, my first ever memory is like my aunt Irene sitting at her house, and I could vividly tell you this house. Right, I was probably like 2 or 3, and like I remember her telling me that the Undertaker was going to take me away if I was bad. And it like traumatized me, right? Like to this day, I do not do an Undertaker anything. But like my first like real like memory is me and my cousin, Steve, who I talk, we're very, very close. We used to go to his grandparents' house in Florida every year around the 4th of July. And we were watching wrestling, and I couldn't tell you like what day or anything like that. But we were sitting there and he's watching it and he's like really into it. And we had to have been like, I don't know, 10, 11. And he's watching it, and I'm just kind of like glazing at it, or grazing, whatever, not really paying attention. And this guy came on, and it was like blonde hair, and it was like, whoa, who is this? And I'm watching, and he did the worm, right? So Scotty Too Hottie did the worm, and I was hooked. So Scotty Too Hottie, everything was Scotty Too Hottie. I talked about him all the times, like so much that my cousin was like, please shut up. Like, but as far as a fan, I would say to you, like, even to this day, I'm not a fan. I can't stand it. And I know that's going to get me a lot of heat, but I cannot. Brian pulled out 2 TVs yesterday for us to watch. He was watching the pay-per-view. He took the other TV out of my bedroom. And when I tell you the temper tantrum that I threw over my TV being in the living room because I was going to the bedroom because the pay-per-view was on, I love the energy that it brings. I love what it can do for people. I love the outlet that it gives. All of my kids are into it, or in one way or another. I hate it. I don't mind going to a live show and just feeling like the energy, and I'll participate, but I hate it.
Hey, I asked an honest question. I got an honest answer.
There you go.
What made you want to get into promoting, and how hard is it? Sorry.
Okay, so for me, it was an opportunity to be different, to promote, right? So I told you I hate it, right? So I'm not doing it on my own. This is a several part process with USW. I handle financials, community, budgeting, all of that stuff. I have other people that are doing writing, talent, and I do have a little bit to say in the both of them. I will like kind of put my 2 cents in, and obviously everybody listens. And I look at things from a fan aspect, which is probably a little different than what most people do, right? Like, yeah. I will sit out in the crowd and pay attention to who people are cheering for, who they're booing, what people are saying, because I get to be that kind of a promoter who is on the outside looking in and has people doing other aspects for me. But for me to do this, I really wanted to be different. I went to a wrestling show where, and I'm not going to name any names, and this was many, many moons ago. Someone actually pulled their balls out in the show. And I was like, there's kids here. Like, there's got to be a line in this, right?
Yeah.
And so when we first started running, we even had like just this close connection of parents who felt like and knew that this is a family-friendly show. I won't say bad words are never said, but we try to keep it to a minimum. There's no or anything like that. We really try to keep it, like when we say family friendly, that's what we keep it to. I want my kids to be able to go. I would like my kids' friends to be able to go. I would like my nieces and nephews and their friends to be able to come, and me to be able to say to them with a straight face, this is a place where your babies can come, your children can come, and you don't have to worry about explaining to them what is happening in our ring and what certain things mean and are doing. And we can focus on what the overall goal is, right, for our company and for what wrestling should be, and that's entertaining. Our goal is from the time you sit in the seat until the time that you leave, you have fun. And not just fun for the kids, but fun for the parents. And so I would say that's my goal. And we get to be able to do that because I have more of a backseat role. And so even when people found out that I own the company, they were like, what? Like, no. And so I kind of like that. I like being that backseat person. I would say my other favorite thing is the ability to give back to our community through wrestling. So I think that a lot of people don't realize, a lot of promoters don't realize the hand that you can have in giving back to your community from what you do. Last year we did a Toys for Tots. Actually, we did a couple Toys for Tots events. We did a parade, which I don't know of any other, definitely local to us, companies who did a parade, but we had some of our guys come out and our ladies champion, and I drove the Jeep, and we had our heavyweight on the back seat, and we made it look like a ring, and he was out there. We had people passing out flyers and just interacting with the fans in a way that nobody has really done before. We've moved to Delaware recently. We're getting ready to run in Seaford on August 3rd. And we have our first community event coming up, which is stuffing the bus for teachers. And so we are asking for anybody who is able to donate any kind of school supplies. So we have an Amazon wish list. You can find it on the USW Facebook page. But if you can do it locally, that's great. If you're not local and you just want to still continue to help through USW, there's a wish list. And then if you order off the wish list, we're going to take those items to the bus itself in a school. And so we'll post pictures and videos and stuff like that. We did do a food drive back with the parade. But that's our goal. So this event is literally school supplies that will be shoved onto a bus. And our goal is to fill this bus as much as we can. And then the teachers actually get to go onto this bus and pull items that they need for their classroom. So for us, that's big. That's huge. We had our heavyweight champion go to a classroom last year, and he did an interview with kids. And so that's our goal, give back to the community, but especially giving back to our youth, right, which is essentially our fans. So letting them know that they are seen, they're heard, and making sure that their resources are met as much as possible. That's why if you ask me if I love wrestling, I'm going to tell you no, but that's why I love USW. I love the opportunity to give back to our community.
That's awesome that you guys are doing that. That was genius to even think of it, to get involved in anything like that. I love it. It's a great idea. It's going to help the community. It's a win-win for everybody.
Exactly.
Guarantees you almost everybody at the school you're going to is going to be at the wrestling show. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a win-win for everybody. I love
right.
it.
Yeah, and they get, so if they donate, and if they bring school supplies to the August 3rd show, they get a 10. If they donate through Amazon and they send us a picture of photo proof and their address, we will mail them a signed 8x10.
Awesome. That is awesome. You guys heard that. And I'll be make sure to get the link from your Facebook channel for that and put it in the description of this video.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. Not a problem. Not a problem. Want to help as much as I can. We'll go right into next question. How many shows would you say you have promoted in your lifetime?
I do not think that number exists. I couldn't even tell you the year. So we started out, we did a show as USW. And then I started MWF. So we did that for a while. And then my husband's grandmother got sick, and we kind of had to, our kids were sick, so we had to take a little bit of hiatus. And then we came back as coming back as USW meant a lot to me because as much as we love MWF, Maryland Wrestling Federation, and as much as it meant to us, some of our biggest shows were on there, right? We did an Extreme Evening, which was probably my favorite show if I had to pick one. A lot of surprises and things that we were able to give to the fans. But for me, USW, to me, MWF meant Maryland. Like, you were sticking in Maryland, right? Because what sense does it make to go somewhere else when your name is Maryland?
Yeah.
And so when we looked at revamping, I said, we got to go back to USW. I love USW on like being patriotic and loving our country. And so, but USW also means I can go any of the states that I want to. I can promote anywhere I want. So we did Maryland. We've done West Virginia. And now on August 3rd at the Birmingham's, it's called, we are getting ready to do Delaware. So we are, I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to branch out. This is honestly just the start. So as I sit here and say, I couldn't give you a number. I could tell you 10 years from now, that number won't exist.
I like that. I like that. That's a very good answer. Very good answer.
Thank you.
I can't wait to be there August 3rd. What does the USW Ladies Liberty Division mean to you, and where did the original concept come from?
It means everything. So I would like to say that I have probably the biggest hand in the Ladies Liberty. And I think I'll continue to keep my hands in that one. Obviously, like my writers and things like that, they keep up with the writing aspect of that. For me, I think that, especially in wrestling, I think that what they are wearing, I hear what men say, and not just men, but I hear what people are saying. And so for me, if you look, our girls are dressed, they are covered, because my thought is I want you to be to their talent, not to what they are wearing and what they look like. I think that so far we have some of the best. And anybody can come to me and anybody can argue with me on this, and I'm glad to put you onto a show and prove to you that I believe our ladies are the best in the business, especially the independent business. I could wholeheartedly say with my entire heart that when they are ready, I fully believe they are capable to move up. And as much as we love USW, that's USW's goal, right? Our goal is to move up and to be able to go head to head with some of these big companies, right?
Yeah.
But I will tell you right now, I believe that our ladies are looked at for our talent, and that is my goal. My goal is to stop the women being looked at as objects. And so again, I go and look at, we're on Justice every Sunday. Go back and look at and I think for me that is showing our youth, right? Because let's go back to the youth. That is showing our youth that it doesn't matter how they're dressed or what they wear. It matters that they get in the ring and they work for it. And so that is my goal. My goal is for our generation coming up, who will eventually be in our reign, to know that they will not be turned down because they don't have the Airglass figure or what the other companies are looking for. Yeah. And we want to see what they can do in the ring. That's what that means to me.
Awesome. I love the belt. I love the concept of it. And the ladies at USW are very talented.
Thank you.
I'm excited.
I can't say thank you on their behalf because they work for it.
Yeah.
I see them bust their butt 5+ days in the ring. And I'll tell you, when they were training, we have the USW Academy. So our two main, the Spider Lady and Luna Lynn, they started with USW Academy. And I'll tell you, I watched them, and I watched them take men down. I watched Luna Lynn pick up Huck Sawyer and throw him. I mean, these girls they work just as hard, if not harder, than the men. I'd be afraid to get in a ring with them. 100%.
Awesome. I'm excited to see all the action. All right. Have you ever thought about stepping in the ring yourself?
No, never.
Never?
I will stay on this side of it. When we got our ring, when we got our new ring to put into the USW Academy, we had all of our current students there, my children and a lot of the the USW staff. They were there helping, right? Because our academy was in a mall, and it was quite a walk from the car to the school. To be the first one, I'm going to take the first bump in this ring. Brand new ring, wasn't painted like you see it now. It was not put together like it was now. And I said, I'm going to be the first person to take a back bump on this ring. And everybody was like, no, you are the less that I have ever wanted to be in a ring, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you won't. No, you surfing somewhere. And it wasn't perfect, but I did. I got in there. I took a back bump, and you can hear everybody going, woo, because they just couldn't believe it. And I will leave it 100% to professionals. I will handle financials and community and that, and they can have that. You don't want the ones who work for it their whole life, who feel it in their core and want to do it. And let's leave it to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Most favorite moment that has happened in your circle because of USW?
Can you say that one more time? You cut out.
What is your most favorite circle because of USW?
I don't know if this goes with this, but or if this is exactly the route that I'd say my favorite moment for USW was we had I'd say the Children's Hospital. So, and Brian and Nikolai were very close, and so we took the belts up, and we bought some figures and things. We took some stuff up to him, and Brian got to really have a good conversation with him, and sweetest boy on the earth.
Oh.
And then we had a show, and Brian had won the belt. And Brian got out of the ring and gave him the belt that he had just won. And so for me, that was the boy's face, the parents' face is something I will never, ever, ever in my entire life forget. I think it really circles you and brings you back to why we're doing this. And I think just those little moments and those little moments with Nikolai, because Nikolai is real quick to humble you. I think that a lot of these people let this go to their head as who they are, and that they forget that these are the moments that matter, right? So absolutely what you do in that ring matters, but how you carry yourself as a champion outside of that ring, that is what matters.
You're right.
So I'd say that was probably my favorite moment. Like that is the one that sticks in my brain the most as like a favorite. Like if I had to pick one top of my head, that's the one I'm going to tell you. I have a ton, but that's the one that's going to sit on the top of my brain.
That's a very sweet memory. Yeah, you had me ready to cry there for a second. As sweet as that.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that I didn't even know about the belt. So when, again, I'm sitting out in the crowd, I'm paying attention to what people are saying and how they're reacting to things. And when he got out of the ring and handed that kid the belt, I said I forgot to yell at him because he just gave away a belt. But again, it was such a moment that sticks in my head. Like just the looks.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That warmed my heart. What is a dream place for you to host a show at?
I just want to go everywhere. I want people. I don't have a particular place. I know some of our guys want Madison Square Garden. Some of our guys want right, like that's like the generic answer, right? Yeah. Some of them want Wembley Stadium. Some of them want the Baltimore Arena. Somebody wants the Ravens Field, right?
I'd be happy just winning outside.
We did a tour, a backstage tour a couple years ago, and it was probably one of the coolest things we've ever done. We did it around Christmas time, but it was absolutely the best. We got to see like the cheerleaders having their pictures taken, and then we also did a backstage tour of Ravens Stadium, which was amazing for me. I'm a Ravens fan, so it was top notch. But I'd say for me, I don't have a specific place. Like my goal is everywhere. I want you to be able to say, when's USW coming around? Because I really like them, and us, we being able to get to you, you know, and you not having to go far and 6 to 8 hours to drive to come to our, for them to not have to do that. Right. We have our Justice TV show where it's every Saturday at 10 a.m. where you can keep up with a lot of what's going, you can keep up with their storylines. And my goal was for that to get bigger. I mean, it's already pretty big. And know that within a few days or a few weeks, we're coming to you. So you don't have to drive all of that time. And that's appreciated. But that's my goal, within a reasonable amount of time to our fans.
Awesome. That sounds great. I can't wait, man. It's going to be big. We're going to go everywhere, huh?
We're getting there. We're getting there. One step at a time.
Do you have a favorite wrestler?
My husband's going to kill me. I do. I have a few, actually. And I would say it's my kids. As a mama, or let me start by saying that when we first got into this, it was my husband through and through. You couldn't tell me anything because he was the best. I heard what women said about him, and I had to sit back and remind myself that the Baltimore doesn't need to come at me, and I don't look that great in orange, right? But being a mom, it had, and here's the thing, I always said, my kids are not doing this. They're not doing it. I have watched my husband. I've driven my husband to the hospital. I have watched him tore up. I can see him now not able to walk. And it is an everyday argument of, you're not doing this anymore. You're not. And yes, I am. Yes, I am. But as a mom, to see my kids do this is terrifying. If you look in the crowd, you can hear me gasping. You can see tears. You can see me jumping out of my seat. But seeing how much they love this business and that they are 150% in this. I'd say they're my favorite. And I'm going to get in so much trouble for this, but I 100% would say that is my favorite. They are, I couldn't just pick one. I've got 6 and 1 on the way. That is, she's 11 and I'm training. I'm going to start training today. And I'm like, you're still too young. You're not training today. And I told my husband, I just want one girl. Like, I just want one of them that looks at me and says, Mama, I don't like wrestling either. And they all love it. Even my granddaughter, like our granddaughter comes out, so she gives Lola a hug. And then she pop, and she goes right there. And then his figures that nobody else is allowed to touch except my granddaughter. She gets up in the bed, hands him the remote, turns on wrestling, and they have to play figure. Like this house is truly, if there's a wrestling family, people have said it like we're like the Hart family, because Stu's wife hated wrestling. I get it. I 100% get it.
I love it. I love hearing it. That's what makes you guys great. You guys go together great.
I think that's our thing too that I like about it is we really do focus on like our family values, right? Like that's our core. Who you see in the ring, who you see outside of the ring, they're the same. I mean, we are 100% who we portray ourselves to be, because I think that, and not to be self-centered or, whatever, I think that we're pretty awesome. I think that that our family values are great. We put that out there. But I don't want to be anything different. Like, I want to be exactly who I am. I want my husband to be exactly who he is. And I do love that, like, a lot of people don't get to see those moments with my family and who they are outside of the ring. But just know that who you see in the ring, that is exactly who they are outside of the
ring. I love it. Good answer. Good answers. I do. I love your answers. You've been on point tonight. Of release of the USW show Stars and Stripes. Tell us about it.
So I'm not giving too much away. You're going to have to come to the show. You're going to have to tune into Justice and see as our matches are being announced, right? I can tell you Brian is wrestling King Kalua versus King Kalua.
Awesome.
And then we're going to have Draco, who is our new
Silver Screen.
Yep, Silver Screen. There you go. He's defending his title. Obviously, it wouldn't be a match without a ladies match. So you'll definitely have to go online. You'll have to watch Justice. You'll have to see. I want people to see it for themselves. I want them to be excited about our events. More events will be added very, very soon. We are finalizing. We've got 2 that I know of that should be finalized here very soon. We're working very hard with the commission and the buildings. But like I said, that's our goal. And not only is our goal obviously to put on shows for you guys, but this show at Birmingham's is it's awesome. Like, it's a bar, right? Great food, cold beer, cold Coca-Cola for anybody who's interested. But it's little, right? And so it's in our town. It's actually directly across the street from Town Hall. But our goal is to find those, not necessarily little venues, but like bars and places like Birmingham's and other little small places that we can run shows at, that, again, hand in hand, right? They're helping us get our name out. We're helping get their name out.
Yeah.
And so I think, again, that community base, and again, making it accessible for fans, keeping, if we have a high overhead on a building and things like that, that makes tickets not affordable for fans. So we're going to have front row, which is ringside, second and third row for $20, and bring your own chair for $15. Awesome. So again, kind of keep these prices, especially in this day and age, affordable for fans. Their kids, they can bring their grandma, they can come out and just have a good time.
Awesome. Sounds great. Sounds great.
Thank you.
Kayla, thank you for your time. Is there anybody on here wants to ask Kayla questions? I do have Allison Banks says, I love USW.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Well, we appreciate you.
Yeah. Is there anything else, Kayla? You want to leave the fans?
Else? Don't think so. I think we touched a lot, and just like I said, I love what we're doing, and I hope that everybody else does, and I hope everybody else sees it. And I would just say, if anybody else has, a little place or is interested in seeing a show near you, please reach out. Please reach out. We have the USW on all social media, right? Facebook is our main source. It's where we kind of reach out the most. But please, we have our email, a place where we can run, a city that you want us to go to and help with, even if it is just advertising something for your community. We're for it.
Awesome. West Virginia. I didn't say that.
We're getting there again. I loved West Virginia. I'll tell you, like, one of my favorite things about West Virginia, as much as I love the wrestling, I told you I'm not a fan. My favorite part of that was the hotel afterwards. Again, keeping with the community. We would come back from the because people there. So we would come back, we would go into the hotel, and there was fans, honest to God, in the hotel. So, like, a little haha story. My husband's birthday was that weekend, and so I planned a whole surprise party for him in our hotel, or in the lobby of the hotel. And we left early. I told my husband, like, oh, my granddaughter's tired. Like, we're going to leave. You guys, everything is torn down, right? They're just kind of talking with some fans and stuff. I said, I'm going to leave. He said, okay, that's fine. Really, we were going to Little Caesars to grab some pizzas and a cake, because I couldn't do it before then, because obviously he's in our room. And our kids were like, well, we'll keep it in their room. We had the 2 suites. They were going to keep it in their room. And I said, your father comes down here when he's ate all of our snacks. He's coming down here to get your snacks. You can't do that. So we go get this thing done. And my son, they're messaging us like, all right, guys, like, he's on the way. And I'm like, well, we're not ready yet. So my son pulls over on the side of the road, disconnects something off of his car. And so, of course, my husband pulls over like, oh, my God, what's wrong? And he's like, my car won't start. I can't figure it out. My husband's not a car person. So they're pushing my son's car into the parking lot to kill time for us to get in there and get situated. So then the other problem was, we get in there and there are fans at our hotel. Yeah, there's only like 3 hotels, right? So it's not hard to figure out where we are. Yeah. And I'm like, well, crap, now I got to move this party upstairs. So now I'm trying to move everything upstairs. I'm trying to message all the wrestlers. It was insane. And then all of us are upstairs trying to get everything situated. We're waiting for him. My son is like, he's down here talking to fans. I had to run downstairs, pull him for a minute, upstairs, so we could all yell surprise. And then we went back downstairs. I brought all the pizzas and the cake, and we just interacted with our fans, right? So we sat in that lobby. I don't know if you were there for that. You were there for that, right?
There for that. That's why I'm like,
yeah, we all sat in the lobby, and it was like 50 of us down there, right? We ended up in the pool, like. But again, that's one of those things that like those fans will remember that forever. Like the next time that we were supposed to go to West Virginia, they were writing us like, "Oh, we can't wait," and then due to unforeseen circumstances, we weren't able to go. But yeah, like those like not only will we remember that forever, but those fans are going to remember that they were in the lobby of this hotel and they had to have pizza, or they got to have pizza and cupcakes, with Brian Hardy for his birthday, and then they all jumped in the pool afterwards. Like that is something. But again, I think with our talent also, we look forward to that because that is a way that we can really like be together and unite, and we're all there for the same reason, right? For the love of the business, or for me, for my husband's love, my children's love for the business. But also, these wrestlers are putting their lives on the line, and so you can't do that without complete trust in your opponent. So I think that these little exercises and these things that we do really helps them to feel connected with one another and to have that trust for one another. And they're going to now be able to put on a better show for you, a better match for you, because they trust their opponent. So that's what we want.
Absolutely.
So yeah, those are the things that like stick with me. And like I said, you're going to get like the wrestler answer from everybody and everything else you do. But for me, it's from the promoter who isn't a fan of wrestling, but is a fan of what wrestling can do for everybody else.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting.
That was awesome. Cody said, "Hey, don't talk about me."
Well, when I tell you, when my husband found out that his car was not broke and he pushed that car all that time, he was so torn between being so mad and so surprised because he said, he was like, I had no idea. And it's very hard to surprise him. So he was like, A, I had no idea. And B, even if I did have an idea, I wouldn't have had an idea because I had to push car. So, and when I tell you he came in that hotel looking beat and not from the match, he looked tore up.
Poor got him good that night.
Yes. And I'd like to say that's the worst I've done to him, but there's been worse. But it was for the greater good. And that even when you talk about that night, like he'll say that, like he'll like, oh yeah, they threw a surprise party, made me push a damn car. But and then he always talks about that positive because again, how many people can communicate with their fans like that?
Not very many.
Exactly.
I got one more question for you, and this one's for me.
Okay.
You guys have been married a while. Brian, I've already asked Brian this question and got his answer before in private message. I'm going to ask you on live stream. How do you make it work with all the kids, the wrestling, the financial, everything? How do you make it work as a family?
So I will say that we've been married for 20 years, almost 20 years, right? And I think that our biggest thing and what we tell our kids is we try to make time for ourselves, but with all the kids, that ain't happening. But we have to remember that we're friends first. And so for me, I had a spotty past. I dated other people. And for Brian, I was his first. And so there came a point where our marriage was tested and because of kids and financials, right? And it really brought us down. And so I don't want to even say we're separated, right? Because he was on my couch, but we took time to, while still being a family, right? Our kids still having dinner and still being married and loving each other, but taking a moment, and I mean that, it was literally like a moment to this. And why we want to be together. And Brian's golden. And I'll tell you, like, I come from a spot or a past where if it didn't work, you walked. And I tried that very, very on when I found out I was pregnant with our first. I was leaving. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in this. And you definitely don't know what you're doing with this. And he actually came home from band practice early. And if he wouldn't have done that, and he said that was like an intuition, like something told him to leave early. But I had already had my stuff packed in the car. I was leaving. And I wasn't going to tell him. And he came from a family that when things were broken, you fixed it. You worked on it. You didn't walk away from it. And so it took time. And in the beginning, he would tell me, like, if you're going to walk away, you walk away from the room. And then once I got comfortable with walking away from the room, that it was, well, if you're going to walk away, you go outside to the front yard or the backyard. And then once we got familiar with it, you know what I mean? But he was like, we talk about things, we communicate. I think a big thing for me is I will say to him, well, and I don't want to say we argue, right? Because we bicker, all married couples do, right? And our biggest argument is what's for dinner, and I don't feel like cooking it. But there came a point where we would bicker, right? We were younger, and we were just, that's how we were. And so I would say to him, because Brian is a fix it now, and I am a leave me the hell alone. And so I had said to him, there was one point where I would say to him, if you don't stop, I'm going to say things that I don't mean just to make you mad. So I need you to stop. I need you to give me a minute, and then we can talk about this. We don't go to bed angry. And I know that sounds cliche. We don't ever not sleep in the same bed. And if we do, if we're away from each other, neither one of us sleep. But I think the biggest thing for us is that remember, and again, I know that sounds cliche, remembering that we're friends. And so there was a point where when we had that little bit of a tiff, and we were we knew we didn't want a divorce. We knew we didn't want to actually separate. We knew we wanted to be together, but there was just so much going on, and we just felt like we were consistently, right, being shot down. And just one thing after another. And so my kids now, like, they'll say, well, we thought we had hit it very well, right? We thought we were doing good. We had family dinners every night. I was in cosmetology school. Like, he took me to cosmetology school. He went to work. He came home. There wasn't a moment that he wasn't in the house like he should have been. But the kids now will talk about, like, yeah, I remember that time, and it was like really tense. And so we had talked about it, and we were like, for us, it was never that we didn't love each other. We just forgot. And that does not work for us. And he's probably my best. I mean, I have other great friends. I have one that I would consider my best friend, more like a sister. But when it comes down to it, my husband is my absolute best friend. When you tell me something and you say, don't tell anyone else, the man already knows. Like, sorry, it didn't count him, right? He is the one that I would sit up until 2-3 o'clock in the morning laughing with, eating Oreos. He is like, there's no way, like, he is you forget that you have to be friends. That's what makes it hard. And I will say it was kind of easier for us because we started out as friends. And it just kind of went from like friend to just relationship. So in this relationship is 100% different than any relationship I have ever been in. And so I think that's got to be it, right? Like, he is, and we tell our kids, and 3 or 4 of them are at the age that Brian and I were when we did. And so I remind them that, like, you are not, please do not think that this is your relationship and forever. And some of the people that our children are with right now, we absolutely love. Like, we tell them all the time, if something happens between you two, we're keeping them, you got to go, right? We love their boyfriend and girlfriends. However, that does not mean that you guys will be together 20 years. I would love for it, but I do not want you to base your relationship on our relationship, because every relationship is different. Brian's big thing is he tells me and he reminds me, because our kids get on our nerves and they pit each other against us against each other all the time, more so when they were younger than not. And I was always the first one to defend them. And there's going to be a time that they leave and it is just me and you. How do you want that to be? And I would say, you're right. So again, just reminding us that where we are right now in our stage of life is not where we will be forever, and that we're best friends first. And I will say this too, when it comes to parenting, we had children young. We were told that we were going to ruin our lives, right? We were going to ruin our kids' life, that we should terminate the pregnancy because, we were so young, we didn't know what we were doing. I'll tell you, that kid right now, we just booked a flight for Berkeley. We poured everything we have to our children. Our kids, 2 of them, the one graduated with a 4.25 GPA. He was top of his class. Cum laude, or however you say it. I can't even say it. The kid's so damn smart. Couldn't even tell you. President of the National Honor Society. And again, Berkeley. It's like a less school since he was like 12, 11, something like that.
Wow.
Our daughter is going to VCU. She had early acceptance into VCU. Secretary for the National Honor Society. Cum laude as well. Like these kids busted their butts. And as much as I would like to take credit for it, I can't, right? Like they did that on their own. But I feel like, where did we go wrong? Like, right? Everybody told us we were going to ruin these kids. Like, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the moment to come where we've ruined their lives, right? But I think for that also, like we pour everything we have into our children, and we never changed who we were. So I remember us like going to a punk concert. It was Mest. And we had just had Owen, and I'm telling you, like Owen was like days old. And someone who was like a parent to us was like, well, I'm like, well, I can't go, right? We just had a kid. And they were like, no, you're going. Like our son was born early. And so we had already bought these tickets. And she watched Alex and Owen for us. And we go to this show. And I remember so many people being like, but you're a parent. And we're like in the mosh, like having the time of our life. And they're like, but you're a parent. And I'm like, yeah, I never changed the music that I listen to. You either listen to it or you don't. We were not nursery rhyme people. Our kids didn't come up with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Like they came up with the Ramones, but that's an NSYNC. But like that's we did not change who we were. And just for the love of how we make it work also, Alexander was maybe a month old. I did where we were away from Alex. We went to a wrestling show. When we got married on a Friday. We couldn't go. We got married on 4/4/08. 4 + 4 = 8, right? We were married at 4:08 p.m. We did that because Alex was born at 4:08 p.m. a few years prior to that. We couldn't go on a honeymoon because there was a wrestling show that Saturday. So we go to a wrestling show. That was my honeymoon right down the street. Couldn't go anywhere because there was a wrestling show that Saturday. And then on our 1-year anniversary, he ordered a limo to pick us up the weekend beforehand because it's, again, community charity. There was a little boy who had lost both of his legs to strep. And they asked Brian if he could come out to this event. They were trying to raise money for prosthetics for him. And we came and we brought a ton of USW stuff. And this was years ago. Toys and things like that for this boy. And because we did that community thing for him, the limo rider was so happy and impressed and thankful that he offered Brian a limo whenever he wanted it. He didn't use it for wrestling. He used it to take me to a Japanese steakhouse and Brewster's ice cream for our 1-year wedding anniversary, the weekend before our wedding anniversary, because he was going to go wrestle with his dad in Niagara Falls on our wedding anniversary. And I couldn't go because I had all the kids and his grandmother was sick. So like I had to stay home. But like that, but that's it. Like that's how it's communication and being best friends. That's it. And sharing our goals. I'll tell you, as much as I am a hype man for him, he is absolutely a hype man for me. Like if I got into crocheting and he was like, oh, well, I wouldn't say perfect, but it took years.
You guys are good together.
Thank you. I always haven't been out of prison by now for good behavior. So let's keep that in mind. Honest to God, couldn't imagine anybody else. And we joke around. He was watching something and he was like, oh, who are we talking about here? And then he'll laugh and it'll be like a whole thing. And then I called, I don't remember who it was, but I said somebody was cute. And my freaking daughter-in-law ratted me out and was like, oh yeah, that's the girl that Kayla thinks is cute and Brian whipped, or the guy that Kayla thinks is cute and Brian whipped his head around. He said, who? So now that's how we joke with each other. He says something, he goes, well, if only I was, and like he says the name, and I'm like, if only you were. Like so that's it too. Like we're just, we're getting older. And so if you don't laugh, you cry. So everything is funny and we're just best friends. Like I said, and for us, that might be we were honest to God right before this, we were sitting in bed eating Oreos, laughing. Like
that's awesome. That is awesome.
That's it. I know we always
you cut out
our kids out. Like if you remember anything, I want you to remember that mom and dad fought. It's easy. almost 20 years, and we fought not each other, but for our marriage. We knew that this was what we wanted. We knew we wanted to make it work at all means necessary, and this is it. There's no out. He's stuck forever.
All right, Kayla, we're going to let you go for the night. You have a good night. God bless you. Thank you for being on here. And thanks, everybody, for checking it out. You gave me a 47-minute show, by the way. Thank you.
You're welcome. There you go.
God bless you. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you. You too.
TBONE's out.